y'all come on, gather around. Yep, come on. Got space on this side as well. Come on in.
Alright, you don't know how to space for everybody.
You guys want to come on over here as well? Thank you, thank you.
Oh my God.
Alright, everybody ready?
No!
Oh, you're ready? Well, I want to thank all of you for coming. As you know, we had yet another hurricane. You okay?
Yeah, we good.
You can stay like that the whole
Oh,
time?
yeah.
Anybody want to bet?
I'll take it.
All right. I want to thank a lot of people, the first 5.2 million South Carolinians who listened, used common sense, took care of each other, and followed the advice, the good advice of the professionals about the best way to stay safe. And we did so. As far as we know, we've had no deaths related to the hurricane, and it's easy to have mistakes made, but we don't think that our people made kind of mistakes sometimes they make. So we thank our people, but also want to thank all the first responders, all of those that were involved, from the National Guard to the law enforcement to the various teams, the county teams, the mayors, the chiefs, the city council, everyone involved in public office. But the first responders were ready. They were positioned, the National Guard, the Highway Patrol. It was really a remarkable team effort, and I continue to think that we have the best team in the country when it comes to things like this, as well as the best law enforcement. So this is a good day. We know that some people lost some things. We know some property was damaged. We know that some schedules were upended. But at the end of the day, South Carolina stood strong, and we're open for business. We're happy. It's a beautiful sunny day, and we're going to have lots more of them. And one of the architects of our success is standing to my left, and I'd like her to address you. This is Christy Hall, who's the Secretary of the Department of Transportation.
Thank you, Governor. So I want to echo the Governor's appreciation for all the first responders and the local government assistance that we've had. It's truly been a phenomenal team effort at all levels. Really, even when the storm was actually here passing through the state, there was a great deal of first responders, whether it was fire department, police department, local public works, DOT forces, just a true team effort to get in and, first of all, cut any trees that had fallen across the roadway and deal with any immediate issues with regards to accessibility. That teamwork really kind of accelerated once the storm passed. Late yesterday, as it started to move through the state and the wind started to subside a little bit, our team, along with our local government partners, really started pushing into the area, in particular areas around, of course, here in Georgetown, Pawleys, Garden City, working on starting those recovery operations. So through last night or first thing this morning, we had cleared 1,100 trees across the state as part of our recovery operations, with about 40 more trees that were tangled in power lines that we're dealing with the power companies, who also have been really phenomenal to work with and team up with our folks to make that push and make sure that we're able to get the roads restored to traffic. So we worked on that last night. We had, as the governor mentioned, we had pre-positioned a lot of assets ahead of the storm in some areas where we had worked with the National Weather Service and others to do some predictions on where we thought storm surge was going to occur, looking at roadway elevations, kind of trying to predict where we were going to be needed to be first light. And so once daylight came right here, we pushed into Pawleys and Garden City pretty quickly. And if you've been in those areas over the last several hours, it's very obvious that it's all hands on deck and full force at trying to make sure that we're removing that sand and debris. Causeways are clear. Now we're working on the main roads in the area to get those cleared. That will take several days of work for us. Most of it will be accomplished probably by Monday, close of business Monday. There'll be some additional cleanup. Some of the things that you maybe don't see above ground, but underground, like some of the pipes. If you think about it, those pipes underneath the road normally carry storm water. When it gets overwashed with sand, it gets filled with sand. So we have to work to pump that sand out and vacuum that sand out of those drainage structures to restore them to full service. So looking at Garden City and Polly's in particular, we probably got 2 to 4 days total before we think we'll be pretty much completely finished and ready to pull back out of the area and let the routine maintenance forces kick in. I just again want to appreciate and express our gratitude to the local governments. I think it's truly a perfect model for how government should work together to accomplish a mission incredibly quickly. If you think about it, just less than 24 hours ago we were talking about landfall, and now we're talking about having the majority of the roads open in the area. No major road closures to my knowledge, no bridge damage to my knowledge. So the infrastructure overall fared very well. It's just a matter of just cleaning up and restoring the assets to public service. Governor, that concludes my update.
Thank you, Ms. Hall. Mayor Brenda Bethune, Myrtle Beach.
Thank you, Governor.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to start by thanking this team. You know, our own governor says often, when we communicate, collaborate, and cooperate, there's nothing that we can't do together. And this has been another fine example of that type of cooperation and communication. And I want to thank you, because I know that you reached out to every mayor in this area and stayed in constant communication with us yesterday. The city of Myrtle Beach did not experience a lot of damage with our buildings. We had some roof issues on several hotels, but our main damage is on the beaches. Our sand dunes are washed away. Our stormwater drains that are on the ocean, a lot of those, Ian unkindly relocated for us, but that's all right. And our sand fencing, but all of those things can be rebuilt. They did what they were supposed to do. They protected property. But I just want to thank you again for the communication, and I want you to know the reassurance that gives us on a local level that we have your support, because you say over and over again, anything we need, that you're there for us. And we know that to be true, and that is very comforting at a time like this. Our hearts and prayers go out to Florida. Praise God that we do not have nearly the devastation that they do, that we did not get that storm. So anything we can do to help them, let's have our communities get together and help, because they sure do need us. So thank you, Governor. Thank you, team. And I'm grateful to be here today.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Carol Giroux, Georgetown.
Thank you, Governor, and thank you, everyone, for coming to our great city of Georgetown. We tried to get it cleaned up very nicely for you today, so if you'd like to take a ride through. We were very prepared. Our EOC Center is very prepared. The staff from Police Department, Sheriff's Department, our entire department, all of our department heads were ready. So today we see a different day than we saw yesterday. I visited most of the city businesses today in Georgetown. I found only one that did not open because of too much water damage. We are 100% restored in power, which we're very grateful for. Our electric department worked all night and are still working. However, we're there. And one word that I can say is grateful. When I was visiting the businesses today, everybody said, gosh, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. And I say I'm grateful. This is my first disaster that really wasn't so bad, and I'm grateful for that. But to have the governor call you, to have Christy Hall call, to have Tim Scott call, to have Senator Goldfinch call, to have Lee Hewitt call, to have all these people call and say, what do you need? And I echo what Mayor Bethune says. We're a great team, and it's so nice to see this team working together, and we will continue to. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Brian Henry, Mayor of Pawleys Island.
Thank you, Governor. First of all, I'd like to say that yesterday was a little bit interesting and a little surprising for us. We feel like we got a gut punch yesterday at Pawleys Island. We're a small barrier island, 4 miles long. We were on the dirty side of this particular hurricane. We took a punch, and midday yesterday, it looked pretty rough. I mean, we had a 7-foot surge, we're estimating. If you remember Hurricane Matthew back in 2016, that was about a 7-foot storm surge. We know we exceeded that on Pawleys Island. But the good news for us, one, we've got this beautiful day to clean up and have so many people out there doing yeoman's work. But this morning at 7 a.m. on the North Causeway, there was heavy equipment and multiple crews lined up ready to go. And as soon as we open that causeway up, I can tell you, Pawleys Island right now, the roads are clear. We're not totally done yet. We've got a good bit of debris left to clear. Fair amount of sand still on the far south end. Water is fully restored. Electric is restored mostly, I'd say about 95% of the island. So we're opening up to our property owners. We're not fully open yet to the public, but we're hoping to be able to do that Monday or Tuesday this week. So Pawleys Island is in good shape. We've got some work to do. We appreciate the coordination. We've got every bit of resources that we need at our disposal, and that's a credit to the governor and Christy Hall here. We appreciate all of your crews and all of your assistance. So thank you.
Good news indeed. Mayor of Conway, Barbara Blaine Bellamy.
Thank you, Governor.
Yes.
So happy to be here today. The city of Conway has been spared. We have a lot of experience with flooding, particularly that comes through some of our heavy rains and storms. We had minimal damage. I've heard of certainly no loss of life, no serious property damage, nobody harmed. We just had debris to clean up from our own spaces, and we're very grateful for that. Because of our experience, our own experience, and because of our seeing what happened in Florida yesterday, we prepared for the worst, and we were so happy that we got so much less than that. So we've been truly blessed. One of the things that has worked really well for us is that we've always known that we were not alone. I got a personal call from Governor McMaster yesterday, and I knew that all of his resources were available to us. He made that certain to us. So I'm proud to say that the city of Conway was truly blessed, spared of many calamities that may have come as a result of Ian. But we're praying for everybody who didn't have those results, and we're offering to our neighboring cities any assistance that we might be able to give. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mayor Bob Heller of Surfside Beach.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. With the storm coming, we were very proactive in what we did to prepare for it. This isn't our first rodeo when we did this, and basically in preparing for it, we reduced the amount of water in all our retention ponds and our lakes. We got ready for it, and everything it was a lot more than we anticipated it being, and our storm surge was quite over what we thought it would be. Our biggest problem is that our drainage could not go back into the ocean because the ocean was so mad it didn't take it. So we ran into that problem. We had significant flooding down in the coastal part, but it's all gone away now, and we've in the process of cleaning stuff up. Our biggest concern is that during this event that took place the other day, we lost 80% of our dunes. So now we don't have the dunes that we had before to protect the residents and to protect everything else. But I want to thank the first responders. I want to thank our public works. I want to thank everybody that worked together, including our residents, because our residents have been out there all day today cleaning up and getting it done and making Surfside Beach the family beach, as we say that it is. So I want to thank, and I did get a personal call yesterday from the governor asking us if we needed anything. We really didn't need anything at the time, and we really don't need anything now. We just need to prepare on what we're going to do to fortify our dunes and to get it done. And our prayers go out to the people in Florida and all the people around that had significant damage, that if there's anything that we can do, and our prayers are out for them. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Sheriff Weaver.
Thank you, Governor.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we dodged a bullet here in Georgetown, but the biggest thing I want to thank is our residents. You've been alert, you've been patient, and we thank the governor's office for their response. We thank our state delegation for their response, our Georgetown EOC for coordination, our partners with Georgetown City, and our partners with the town of Pawleys Island. And obviously our men and women in uniform, our public safety officers, our EMS, and our fire. As from a public safety standpoint, we don't see a need for any major road closures. We don't see any need for any curfews, but we do ask you to be patient as we go over the next few days, because there's still some cleanup work that needs to be done. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you. Thank you. Representative Carl Anderson.
Thank you, Governor. Good afternoon. And certainly, Governor, it's always good to see you in Georgetown, along with our Secretary, Christy Hall. You've made several trips down before. Every time something goes on, we can look forward to seeing and hear from you and Ms. Christy Hall. And certainly, we say thank you to our team. We have a great team in Georgetown. The mayor, the administrator, the city police, the sheriff who just spoke, and the sheriff department. Everyone collaborated together. And Georgetown is in good shape. Want to say that Senator Ronnie Sabb would like to be here today, but he had a different engagement. But he sends his love to everyone. And certainly we're praying for everyone, those that have lost their lives in Florida, those family members, and everyone that surround us. Again, thanks to everyone for all that you do to make sure that the people of the nation state of South Carolina is taken care of.
Thank you very much. Russell Fry, Representative Russell Fry.
To the linemen who put the power back on, we thank you. To the cops and the officers who helped people yesterday get out of their homes, we thank you. To the fire departments up and down the coast who are doing incredible work, we thank you. Yesterday was a great preparation. Obviously, as was talked about a little bit ago, we didn't get the disaster that Florida got. But I don't want to mistake this opportunity. There are people who were affected. There are families who flooded directly along the coast. There are businesses who saw 2 feet of water in Garden City, where I represent, in their businesses. So we have a lot to be thankful for today, but there is still a lot of work to do to help put this area right. This is an economic engine up and down the Grand Strand that drives this state, and we need to make sure that we continue to keep them in our thoughts, our prayers, and with the full resources of the state. I've certainly had conversations with federal leadership. Obviously, my role will be changing, hopefully, in January after the election, but had conversations with them about some of the things that are going on in this state, and they are certainly prepared and ready as well to help South Carolina get back on its feet. Thank you, Governor.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Representative Lee Hewitt.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you for your leadership in this, and appreciate you coming down. Like Representative Anderson said, your staff and your resources were always available to us, and we appreciate that. Secretary Hall's staff was constantly in contact with us. You know, kind of was a little scared when I found out they were mobilizing in our area. I was like, that's not good news. They know something we don't know. But they were here. They were out during the storm, after the storm. Also, OCRM, what they have stepped in, and they've been on top of it with their emergency permits, and they're out assessing. We have a lot of dock damage and things along those lines. So, you know, want to thank them. First responders, last night we had an unfortunate fire out on Garden City, and they had to battle the elements and get through the sand to get out there. Unfortunately, we lost 2 structures, but they were able to save it from getting from the 3rd. But anyway, thank you to all the officials, and thank you for coming to town.
Yes, sir. Happy to be here. Representative Case Britton.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Christy Hall, for being here. Thank you for everyone. I'd like to say thank you to all the first responders. Did a great job. There's not much more I can say. My lovely, thankful, great leader, Mayor Bethune, spoke well. We were fortunate didn't have any structural damage. A lot of debris on the oceans, debris in the streets. I just want to say this: that this is what you get in South Carolina. Teams come together, and we work to make sure that after we have a tragedy like this or a storm like this, that we come together because we're resilient in South Carolina, and we fight first, and we fight for what we believe in, and we fight for each other. And that's a great thing about South Carolina. That's a great thing about this team that stands here with me and behind me. We always work together to make sure that we get the best outcome for our people here in South Carolina. So I just want to say thank you again, and look, let's put our best foot forward. Let's keep working hard, make sure we get everything done that we can, learn our lessons from this storm, and go forward. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. I ought to mention also we have a great team here and a great team representing us in Washington, and also we got calls. I got calls from the admiral of Corps of Engineers and Homeland Security and FEMA, and also a call from the President. And by the way, they all offered help and support, and also the President said, and I agreed, that South Carolina is a beautiful place.
Right.
And we all agree with that. One thing in closing is, as was mentioned, we've got great people, and that's why businesses around the world want to come to South Carolina and invest hundreds of millions and billions of dollars, because they want to hire our people. They want our people working for them. And the people that you see here, and the people standing here watching us, and the people at home watching this, those are our people. And if we protect them, educate them, give them a clean place to live, work, a safe place to work and thrive, there really is no limit to what we can do. And someone mentioned being grateful. Well, the hurricane season's not over. It won't be over. We probably could expect the heavy season ends about mid-October, but it goes on till the end of October. And then there's next year, and then there's next year, and then there's next year. But we go keep building, and as we do, let's just all be grateful for what we have. We live in the best place in the whole world to be, and we ought to be very grateful, and be sure to teach the children. Be sure to teach the children this is the best place in the whole world to live, work, and raise a family. And you know the reason why. Anybody got a question for anyone?
I'll just start. Yes, Governor. Was there any particular moment in time where you considered possibly evacuating the barrier islands on the grandstand, like Pawleys Island, like Garden City, at all?
No, there wasn't, because we were watching it inch by inch and minute by minute, and it never did reach that. And it could have, but it never did reach that. And to order an evacuation when it's not necessary, if you have to disrupt people's lives and their schedules and that of their children and the whole family and businesses, then you just have to do it. But that we need to be very careful. But like the carpenter does, you measure twice and cut once. The young carpenter said, "I don't understand, boss. I cut it off twice. It's still too short." Well, we don't make those. We try not to make those kind of mistakes. So we were watching it very closely, and I think we made the right call.
And we heard from, and our mayor, Mayor Pawleys Island, he also spoke. He said that this damage was kind of on par, if not more, than Matthew. So what resources are you dedicating to his island to help him rebuild after?
Well, I think they're there now. Of course, there will be through the emergency management, and that was a lot of water that came into Pawleys. I think Pawleys and Litchfield, maybe Merle's Inlet. I'm not sure where the heaviest storm surge was, but
it felt like it. It felt like
it. Felt like it at your house.
It felt like it at Merle's Inlet.
Can I just add one thing real quick to that? As far as resources, we're getting the resources we need right now to get the island cleaned up, remove all the debris. We too had breaches in our dunes. We just did a beach renourishment 2 years ago, and we had what was called an ideal engineered beach. Well, when you get a Category 1 and you're on the dirty side, it did some damage to us. So we've already been contacted by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to say, what kind of support do you need? They're coming to our island tomorrow to meet with us to say, what do you need? Let's go take a look. And we need partners like that. And we're getting it not only from the state, but from the federal government too.
That's
so
right.
it's been a good experience so far.
Okay. More questions on this beautiful day? Yes, sir.
Any damage to the house?
Don't know. Haven't been there.
Oh, okay.
Any more questions?
She stood the test, Governor. I lost the bet. She stood the test.
I won! That was the whole entire time. I was right there. I was like, all right, next.
Y'all, thank you very much for coming. Let's enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Thank
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Whew, we're training today.